A slight insult for a respectable family is sufficient to invoke grief. Therefore, a cultured man should always be careful in dealing with worshipful family members. Marodit asya janani gautami pati devata yataham mrita vatsarta rodimyashu mukhi muhu. Translation. My Lord, do not make the wife of Dronacharya cry like me. I am aggrieved for the death of my sons. She need not cry constantly like me. Purport. Sympathetic good lady, as she was, Srimati Draupadi did not want to put the wife of Dronacharya in the same position of childlessness, both from the point of motherly feelings and from the respectable position held by the wife of Dronacharya. Next verse. Ekopitam brahmakulam rajanyer ajitatmabhi tatkulam pradhati ashu sanu bandham shucharpitam. Translation. If the kingly administrative order, being unrestricted in sense control, offends the Brahmana order and encourages them, then the fire of that rage burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon all. Purport. The Brahmana order of society or spiritually advanced caste or community, and the members of such highly elevated families were always held in great esteem by the other subordinate castes, namely the administrative kingly order, the mercantile order, and the laborers. Thus ends the purport. Let's have a short recap. At the end of Mahabharata war, Ashwatthama, he wanted to avenge for the death of his father, and his master Duryodhana Duryodhana's thighs was broken by Bhimasena by unfair means. Therefore, he wanted to finish the entire dynasty of Pandavas. With the help of Kripacharya and Kritavarma, Ashwatthama entered the camp of Pandavas in the midnight. And they massacred 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi when they were sleeping. After that, he took the heads of the 5 sons of Draupadi and delivered to Duryodhana in order to please him. Of course, Duryodhana was not at all pleased by the heinous act of Ashwatthama. Therefore, he rejected. When Draupadi heard that his sons were massacred by Ashwatthama, she was overwhelmed with sorrow. She was crying very bitterly. Then Arjuna came and consoled her, and he told, I'll go and behead the head of Ashwatthama and bring and give it to you. After saying this, Arjuna and Krishna, mounted on the chariot, followed Ashwatthama. When Ashwatthama saw that Arjuna and Krishna, they were coming in full speed, then he thought his life was in danger. Therefore, helplessly, he released his weapon. What weapon? Brahmastra. To save his life. The moment he released the weapon, the entire universe was completely scorched with full of heat. When Arjuna saw his own life was in danger, immediately he asked Krishna, Krishna, where from the heat is coming? Who is the cause? Then Krishna told Arjuna that is the act of Ashwatthama. Although Ashwatthama learned how to release Brahmastra, he did not learn how to retract the weapon. Therefore, Krishna advised Arjuna, one more Brahmastra can neutralize this Brahmastra. Since you are very expert in art of military science, you release your own Brahmastra. After hearing this, Arjuna released his own Brahmastra to neutralize the Brahmastra released by Ashwatthama. Then after that, Arjuna retracted both the weapons and arrested Ashwatthama and bound him with a rope like an animal. When Krishna saw this, Krishna incited Arjuna, please kill him immediately, for he is deserved for committing the heinous act of killing the 5 sons of Draupadi, that also in the middle night. Nonetheless, Arjuna did not like to kill Ashwatthama for he was the son of his guru. Rather, he brought him to his own camp and gave to Draupadi. When Draupadi saw Ashwatthama was bound with a rope like an animal, she was overwhelmed with compassion and told Arjuna, "My dear Lord, you learned this art of military science from Dronacharya. With the same knowledge you want to kill his son? No, it's not at all acceptable. Because son is none other than representative of his father. If you kill Ashwatthama, it's as good as killing Dronacharya." Moreover, Draupadi did not want to see mother of Ashwatthama to cry like her. Already she lost her sons, therefore she was crying. But she did not want to see the mother of Ashwatthama to cry like her. This is the quality of devotee. Then Draupadi says, one who knows the principles of religion, they will not cause any grief to the glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipful. From these verses, we can discuss some points, important points. Here, we can see the quality of a devotee. The devotee is the reservoir of all good qualities. And second point, the result of offending a Brahmana or a Vaishnava. What will happen if one offends a Brahmana? That Draupadi says next verse, if the kingly administrative order, being unrestricted in sense control, offends the Brahmana order and enrages them, then the fire of that rage burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon all. If one offends the Brahmana, then is finished. Not only he, even his entire dynasty. This is second point. Third point, one should not give pain to great personalities. So these are 3 points we will discuss in this class. First, a devotee is the reservoir of all good qualities. Here, although Ashwatthama was deserved to be killed for committing such a great offense, nonetheless he was forgiven by Draupadi because she was an unalloyed devotee of Lord Krishna. Therefore, she did not want to see Kripi to cry like her. Kripi, when Dronacharya was killed by Drishtadyumna, she is supposed to die along with him as a Sativrata. But she did not do this because she had a grown-up son, Ashwatthama. Therefore, she had to live. Now, the only one son, if he is killed, then she has to cry like Draupadi. Therefore, after seeing the pros and cons, Draupadi told Arjuna, please release the son of Dronacharya. Devotees always sees other suffering as their own suffering. Paradukka dukhi. Devotee sees other suffering as his own suffering. Whereas karmis sees other suffering as their own enjoyment. Parasukha dukhi. So here we can see Yudhishthira Maharaj is the embodiment of all good qualities. Draupadi is the embodiment of all good qualities. Whereas we can see Duryodhana is the Parasukha dukhi. He enjoys when devotee suffers. Once Duryodhana, by using Shakuni, he cheated Pandavas in the game of dice and took away all the possessions and sent them to forest for 12 years and 1 year incognito. So Pandavas were in the forest, they were suffering. Practically, they didn't have royal opulence. They were enjoying previously, now they don't have any royal opulence. And they were not even wearing good dress. They are laying in the hut. So Duryodhana wanted to give the pain to Pandavas. Therefore, he went and told Dhritarashtra that we'll go to Vaitavana to inspect our cows, because they had some Goshala there. So he wanted to go and inspect cows. So on the plea of inspecting cows, they want to go and show their opulence so that Pandavas will become envious of them and they will suffer. This was the idea of Duryodhana. So he took Karna, Shakuni, Dusasana, and other Gaurava warriors, and along with them chariot, horses, elephants, and some assistants. So they went to Dvaitavana, made a camp. So he told his assistants, you go and build a pleasure house for my enjoyment. So you want to displace the life of eating, drinking, and enjoying with women. So that when the Pandavas sees, practically they'll become more unhappy. That was the idea of Duryodhana. So he told his assistant, go and build a pleasure house. So they were searching for a place, good place. They saw one good place. So they want to construct a good pleasure house. So that is the place where Gandharvas come and enjoy along with the spouse. Therefore Gandharvas said to the assistants of Duryodhana, no, you cannot construct anything. This place is meant for only heavenly personalities, demigods to come and enjoy. No earthly human being can come and enjoy. So these people came and told Duryodhana, so we cannot construct any pleasure house there. Duryodhana got very angry. Even if Indra comes, we'll attack Indra and we'll build the pleasure house. So all the people went and told, no, at any cost we'll build the house. Then there was a fight between Gandharvas and Duryodhana's army. Duryodhana sent Shakuni, Dusasana, Karna, and all great warriors to attack the Gandharvas. There was a great battle happened between the two parties. Finally, the Kauravas were defeated. Karna, and Shakuni, and Dusasana all ran away to save their life. Finally, Duryodhana was caught, was arrested by Gandharvas. Somehow the Kauravas, they went and told Yudhishthira Maharaj, who was living in the Dvaitavana, that our king was arrested by a Gandharva. As soon as Maharaja Yudhishthira heard that his brother was arrested by a Gandharvas, immediately called Arjuna and Bhima. Please, you go immediately and release him. Release our brother. See the quality of Vaishnava. Although Duryodhana wanted to come and give pain to Pandavas, Yudhishthira want to save Duryodhana from Gandharvas. So Arjuna and Bhima went and spoke to Gandharvas. Please release Duryodhana or else we'll fight with you. Then after that, they released. Gandharvas released Duryodhana. Duryodhana was put in shame. Because the purpose of coming there is to give pain to Pandavas. Rather, he was put in painful situation. So this is the typical karmis mentality. When they see neighbors are progressing, the karmis suffer. Somebody purchased new car, like 30 lakhs, 20 lakhs worth car. Immediately, wife will come and put a pressure upon husband. You also should purchase car. So, when they see others are progressing, they will feel pain, they will become envy. Whereas devotee sees other suffering as their own suffering. Similarly, when we see the life of Ambarish Maharaj, although he did not commit any big offense, simply he took water, that also after consulting with the Brahmanas, that Durvasa Muni did not like this. Therefore, he wanted to kill Ambarisha and he created a demon to kill Ambarisha. For it's not an offense. Ambarish Maharaj, without the permission of Durvasa Muni, he drank water. For this, Durvasa Muni wanted to kill Ambarish Maharaj. He created a demon to kill Ambarish Maharaj. Although the demon was there in front of Ambarish Maharaj, he was unmoved. He was unmoved. He was not perturbed. He was not disturbed. He was remained calm, cool, because he is a devotee of Lord. If the demon wants to kill, let him kill. For me, Lord is there to protect me. So what happened? Immediately Lord released Sudarshan Chakra. The Sudarshan Chakra killed the demon and started following Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni started going all the planets of the universe. Still, he was being chased by Sudarshan Chakra of the Lord. He went to the abode of Lord Brahma, then Lord Shiva. None of them could give protection to Durvasa Muni. Finally, he approached Lord Vishnu. Then Lord Vishnu said, my dear Brahmana, by offending your Ambarish Maharaj, you acted with self-envy. Therefore, I advise you for your own protection. You you please go and beg forgiveness from Ambarish Maharaj. He will forgive you. Even I cannot do anything at present. By using one power, by using one so-called power, act against the devotee, the same power will destroy the person who employs it. You try to destroy Ambarish Maharaj with your power. The same power is going to destroy you. Therefore, you go and please beg forgiveness from Ambarish Maharaj. He is a very great devotee. For a Brahmana, learning and austerity is very auspicious. When one acquired by a person who is not gentle, the same knowledge, learning and austerity becomes more dangerous. Therefore, I advise you, please go and take shelter of Ambarish Maharaj. Durvasa Muni immediately ran to Ambarish Maharaj. So it took a total 1 year for Durvasa to go to all other planets. Till the 1 year, Ambarish Maharaj did not eat anything. He was drinking only water. He was expecting when Durvasa Muni will come, after feeding him only, I will take my prasadam. This was the quality of a devotee. Immediately Durvasa Muni came and caught hold of Ambarish Maharaj. Then Ambarish Maharaj felt somewhat awkward. He was embarrassed. What a Brahmana, I am a low-class Kshatriya. How he can touch my feet? Then immediately he prayed to Sudarshan Chakra. Oh Sudarshan Chakra, you are the protector of the universe. You are always engaged in the service of Lord Krishna. To kill the enemies, to kill the envious enemies. Please favor this poor Brahmana. Please favor this Brahmana. It's a good for every one of us. If at all, if you have done any good things, if you have given proper charity, if our family members given proper charity to proper persons, if you have acted piously, if you have performed sacrifice properly, and if you have performed our religious duties properly, then if you have been guided by the Brahmanas properly, then I wish in exchange for all these things, please let this Brahmana be freed from the cause of burning by the fire of Sudarshan Chakra. If the Lord is, who is the reservoir of all transcendental qualities, is pleased with us, I wish this Brahmana can be saved. See the quality of Ambarish Maharaj. Durvasa Muni wanted to kill Ambarisha. Rather, he prayed to Sudarshan Chakra to save this Brahmana. So, devotees, generally, they don't have any enemies. Even they are good for his enemies. They never be harmful to anyone else. So, they are always confident. Even the enemies come and attack, I don't care. For me, Lord is there. They are 100% confident of Lord's protection. So, from this point, we can understand devotees have got all the good qualities. Isasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver gunais tatra samasade sura hara bhaktasya kuto mahat guna manoratina satidavoto bahihi. One who is engaged in the unalloyed devotional service of the Lord, all the good qualities of the demigods are in him. All the good qualities of the demigods are with one who is engaged in unalloyed devotional service unto Krishna. On the other hand, harav abhaktasya, harav means Hari, abhaktasya, one who is not a devotee of Lord Hari, he will not have any good qualities. Why? He is always hovering on the manorathina, mental platform. Manorathina sati davato bahi, is always under the influence of illusory energy of Lord. Therefore, he cannot have any good qualities. This is the verdict of the Shastras. Devotees will have all good qualities, whereas non-devotees, one who is not a devotee of Lord Krishna, he cannot have any good qualities. Even though one may be a noble laureate, he may be doing good service to society. If he is not a devotee of Lord, he doesn't have any good qualities. Take demon Vritrasura. Although he was a demon, the battlefield between Vritrasura and Indra, practically Indra was defeated by Vritrasura. He lost his weapon, thunderbolt. He was standing. And easily Vritrasura could have killed Indra. But he did not kill him. He encouraged him. Oh Indra, Lord Vishnu sided with you. Therefore, victory is yours. Please take the weapon and fight. Please take the weapon and fight. You will be victorious. Of course, he could have easily defeated Indra because he was without any weapon. He lost his weapon. But still, he gave him the chance. But his wonderful discussion took place between Uttarasura and Indra. Then he said, "Oh Indra, please kill me immediately, so that I'll go back home, back to Godhead immediately. It is you who is going to suffer after winning the war. You are going to suffer. You are going to rot in this middle world. But whereas after I am being killed, I'll go to the abode of Lord and I'll enjoy with the Lord." This is the quality of demon. So, although he appeared as a demon, but he had all the good qualities of devotees. Whereas in the life of Jarasandha, he had so-called good qualities. Any Brahmana goes to him, if some Brahmana asks, cut off your arm and give, he would give. He was very well charitable to Brahmanas. But he is not a devotee of Lord Krishna. Therefore, he is a demon. One who is not a devotee of the Lord, even though he has got so-called moral qualities, good qualities, still he is considered to be a demon. On the other hand, although one appeared to be a demon, but he has got all the good qualities because he is a devotee of Lord. So, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami explains, there are 26 qualities of a devotee. 26 qualities of a devotee in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Devotee is always kind to everyone. It does not make anyone his enemy. Is always truthful. Is equal to everyone. No one can find a fault with the devotees. Is magnanimous. Is mild. Is always peaceful. Is always surrendered to Krishna. He doesn't have any possession with him. Is always grave. Always silent. He gives respect to everyone. And he does not expect any respect for himself. And he is always surrendered to Krishna. He does not eat more than what he requires. Whatever he wants, that he eats. He does not eat more than what he needs. So like that, he is always friendly. He is always merciful. He is poet. He is expert. He is silent. Like that, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami explains the 26 qualities of Vaishnava. We can see in the life of Ambarisha Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, and the Srila Prabhupada. All of them have got all 26 qualities. We cannot see even one quality less. So how many of us got 26 qualities here? None of us. At least I. But when we engage in devotional service, naturally we can develop all good qualities of a devotee. Prahlad Maharaj prays to Lord Narasimhadeva, Naivo dhaja para durtaya vaitaranya, Naivo dhaja durtaya vaitaranya, Tadvire gayana mahamarta magna chitta, Shoche tato vimuka chetasa indriyarta, Maya sukhaya bharam udvoto imudha. Oh my dear Lord Narasimhadeva, I am not at all afraid of this material existence. Why? I am always absorbed in chanting your glories. I am always absorbed in your consciousness. I am discussing about your pastime. I am chanting your holy names. Therefore, I am always peaceful. I am enjoying. But I am always unhappy also. Why? When I see the fools who are making elaborate plans to become happy in this material world. In terms of maintaining families, societies, countries. Actually, in this material world, no one can become happy. Krishna says, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. When Krishna himself says, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam, and we are trying to make plans, elaborate plans, to become happy in this world. So Prahlad Maharaj says, I am simply concerned with love for these fools who are making elaborate plans. So Prahlad Maharaj was simultaneously happy and unhappy to see the people of the world. And he says, Prayena deva munaya sagamukti kama maunam charanti vichane na parartha nishta. Naitan vihaya kripanan vimuksha eko nanyam tadasya sharanam brahmato anupashye. My dear Lord, there are so many saintly persons are there indeed in this world. There are so many saintly persons are there. They are interested in Swamukti Kama. They are interested, Swamukti, their own liberation. They are not at all carried for others. They are leaving these cities and village, go to Himalaya and undergo Maunavrita, the vow of silence, just for their own deliverance. But as for me, I don't want to be liberated alone, leaving these fools and rascals. I wish to bring them unto your shelter, unto the shelter of your lotus feet. I know very well, without being Krishna consciousness, no one can become happy. Therefore, I wish to bring them unto the lotus feet of your Lordship. By bringing them unto your lotus feet of your Lordship, they will become happy. See, although he was a 5-year-old boy, he was taking all the troubles. He does not want to go back home, back to Godhead. Rather, he wants to be here. You please bless me that I'll be here and I'll deliver all the people of this material world and I'll come back to your abode. I don't want to come alone. This is the quality of Vaishnava. They don't want to go back home, back to Godhead immediately. They want to give this knowledge to everyone and see that everyone is going back home, back to Godhead. This is the quality of Vaishnava. So once Prabhupada was told by Gargamuni, the devotees were preaching in Indonesia and Pakistan and other Muslim countries. So when Prabhupada heard this, devotees are preaching in the Muslim countries, he was very much pleased. I told Gargamuni, I put on my head the dust of the feet of those who preach in Muslim countries. Just to see. Prabhupada says, I put on my head the dust of those who preach in Muslim countries. Practically it's difficult to preach in Muslim countries or even Russia. But devotees took all lordship to deliver others, even at the risk of their own life. This is the quality of a devotee. So devotee is the reservoir of all good qualities. Now second point, the result of offending a Brahmana. By insulting a Brahmana or a Vaishnava, one will be deprived of knowledge, strength, opulence, even the duration of life. Although one may be a great emperor of the world, nonetheless he offends a Brahmana or Vaishnava, he is not only finished alone, but he brings destruction to his entire dynasty. Even in the life of Krishna's dynasty, we can see. Once great sages like Atri, Vashishta, Vishwamitra, Durvasa, Narada, Gautama, and many other sages were performing sacrifice in the home of Vasudeva, father of Krishna. So when they are performing sacrifice, they want to conclude the sacrifice. Therefore, they went to the place called Pindaraka to conclude the ceremonies. There the Yadu dynasty boys brought Samba, the son of Jambavati, and they dressed him like a woman, the garb of woman, like a pregnant woman. So these boys, out of playful mood, impudently asked the great sages with feigned humility, "Oh great personalities, oh great Brahmanas, this woman is pregnant now. Now she is going to deliver a child. She has got the desire to beget a male child. Now since you people, you Brahmanas are having an infallible vision, you know the past, present, future. So please let us know whether the lady, whether she will beget a male child or female child." Because the sages were insulted by the Yadu dynasty boys. They became very angry. She will bear an iron club that will destroy your entire dynasty. All the sages cursed the Yadu dynasty boys. She will bear an iron club that will destroy entire dynasty. So as soon as the boys heard, they were shocked, they were terrified. Then immediately they uncovered the belly of Samba and they saw to their surface iron club. Then they started crying. They immediately took the iron club and they approached Ugrasena and they explained to Ugrasena, who is the king of Dwaraka. So Ugrasena immediately called his servants and told, immediately make this iron club into a powder and throw into ocean so that nothing will happen. So that assistant made that iron club into powder and they could not make everything powder. Something left over was there. So the man went and threw it into the ocean. So all the iron particles carried back to the shore and they implanted themselves and grow tall like a sharp canes. And one certain that lump left over was eaten by a fish. And the fish was caught by a hunter, a fisherman. And the fisherman cut upon the fish, the belly of fish, he found the iron club. So the Jara, the fisherman, took that club and made an arrow. So finally he shot, at the end of lifetime Krishna, he shot the arrow at Krishna. So this when they heard, the entire citizens of Dwarka were filled with fear after hearing the curse of sages. Therefore all of them want to leave the Dwarka and go to Prabhasha Kshetra. So the Yadu dynasty people told women, old men, children and all were sent to Shankodara, a place called Shankodara. So only all the male members of Yadu clans, there are 5 clans, Dasharas, Satvatas, Vrishnis, Bhoja, Andaka. These are the 5 clans of Yadu dynasty. So all of them went to Prabhasha Kshetra. There they performed religious ceremonies to counteract the curse. So after doing sacrifice, they indulged in drinking beverage, sweet beverage, but that can intoxicate the mind of one who drinks more than required. These people, under the illusory energy of Lord, they drank unlimitedly. Because of this, the enmity arose between the different clans, different dynasties. They started fighting, they started quarreling each other. Then finally, they started fighting with ant. Then finally took club and weapons and they started hitting each other. When everything is lost, they took the cane which was grown out of that iron particles. They started hitting that immediately. As soon as they took that bamboo, the cane became like an iron rod. They started hitting each other. And when Krishna and Balarama went to pacify them, even they started beating Krishna and Balarama. Who? Because they were under the influence of illusory energy of Lord. They started beating Krishna and Balarama. Then Krishna and Balarama took the same canes and started beating everyone and they finished them, all the people of Yadu dynasty. So there are 2 understanding. Of course, Krishna came to reduce the burden of the world. After the end of Kurukshetra war, almost all the people were killed. Still, the Yadu dynasty members are there. He thought, why these people should burden the earth? Let me take all the people. This is the one concept. The other concept is, simply by offending a Brahmana, even Krishna dynasty was finished. So, we should be very, very careful in dealing with the devotees, Brahmanas. Simple offense at the Brahmanas, one can bring complete destruction. Once Maharaja Raghugana was being carried by palanquin carriers. That time one person was not able to carry, therefore to replace him, Jadabarda was found. He was carrying the palanquin of Raghugana. He was not walking properly because he was seeing ants, so he could not go properly. That time the palanquin was jolting. He started scolding Jadabarda. You appeared like you are very tired and you are taking the palanquin all alone. You look like you are very skinny because Jadabarda was stout and strong. He sarcastically scolded Jadabarda by insulted him in many ways. Then Jadabarda kept himself very calm, quiet. And again he started taking the palanquin. Again it started jolting. This time it became, Maharaj Raghugana became very angry. Then immediately he started blasting. You rascal, what are you thinking? I am your master. Don't you know? If you don't listen to me, I will punish you. You are dumb fellow, crazy fellow, madman. So like that he insulted Jadabarda without knowing who he is. Then Jadabarda started talking some philosophical things. My dear king, my dear hero, whatever you said, everything is fact. You said, I am stout and strong. Actually, the load carried by the body does not belong to me. I am the soul. I am different from my body. I am not stout. I am neither stout nor skinny. Only my body is stout and strong. Then he told like that. Then you said that you are the master. I am your servant. I am going to chastise you. This is certainly incorrect. Today you are master and I am servant. Tomorrow the position become opposite. I will become your master. You will become my servant. Because these positions are created by the will of providence. Therefore, this is incorrect. And you said that you are a dull fellow, crazy fellow, madman. I am going to punish you in order to bring your senses. This is also not correct. You already concluded that I am a madman. I am a dumb fellow. I am a crazy fellow. What you will gain by punishing a madman? Simply, it's like beating a dead horse. If you beat a dead horse, what you are going to gain? Similarly, a madman is punished. He is not cured of his madness. Therefore, this is also not correct. So, Maharaj Raghuna, because he is also like a saintly in character, he thought he is a low class person, just a coolie who is taking care of load. And when he heard the philosophical, wonderful explanation put forward by Jadabharata, immediately he opened the curtain of the palanquin. And he saw, looked at Jadabharata, he was wearing a Brahmana thread. He immediately got down from the palanquin, immediately fell full flat and touched his head at the feet of Jadabharata, so that he will be excused for committing an offense. Then he said, Naham Shanke Suraraja Vajrat Natraksha Sulan Nayamasya Dandhat Nagni Arka Swama Anila Vitapa Shastrat Shanke Brisham Brahma Kula Avamanat. My dear sir, I am not at all afraid of Suraraja Vajrat. Suraraja means, Sura means Devas. Raja means king of Devas. Who? Lord Indra. What is his weapon? Thunderbolt. I am not afraid of thunderbolt of Indra. Now I am not afraid of piercing trident of Lord Shiva, Sulan. Nayamasya Dandhat. I am not at all afraid of punishment of Yamaraja. Nagnir. I am not afraid of Agni, fire. I am not afraid of wind. Vitapa Astra. Vitapa means Lord Kuvera. I am not at all afraid of weapons of Kuvera. I am not afraid of anything. Shanke Brusham Brahma Kula Avamanat. Yet I am afraid of offending a Brahmana. I am very much afraid of offending a Brahmana. See, although Maharaj Raghuna, he was the king, he could have punished. But the moment he noticed that Jadabharata is a Brahmana, he is not cared for his position. Immediately he came down and touched his head at the feet of Jadabharata, so that he might be excused for offending him. So here Draupadi says in this verse, a kingly administrative order being unrestricted in sense control offends the Brahmana order, enrages them, when the fire of that rage burns the whole body of the royal family and they bring griefs to all. So Maharaj Raghuna was well aware of this fact. Simply by offending a Brahmana, he brings destruction not only to him but his whole dynasty. When Maharaj Parikshit was hunting in the forest, he went to the ashram of Samik Rishi. So he was not well received. Who? Maharaj Parikshit was not well received by Samik Rishi. He felt insulted. Therefore, he placed a dead snake around the neck of a Brahmana and went. So while going, he was contemplating. Actually, I am low class king. I offended a faultless, powerful Brahmana because of my uncivilization. So he was praying, somehow I am going to get some trouble in the future. I will overcome trouble in future. Let the trouble come immediately so that I will be free from that sinful reaction. I am so uncivilized. I am king. I am supposed to give protection to the Brahmana, but I insulted him. Therefore, I wish my kingdom, my riches, my strength should be burnt up by the fire of the Brahmana's anger. So when Maharaj Parikshit was lamenting and repenting, for his for his uncivilized act, immediately he received news of that imminent death. The Brahmana boy, Shringi, cursed Parikshit Maharaj to die within 7 days. As soon as he heard the news, Parikshit Maharaj became very happy. He did not feel sad, I am going to die. He took the curses, the blessings of the Lord. This is the quality of a devotee. Even though devotee undergoes the troubles, reversals in their life, they take the troubles, reversals as the blessings of the Lord. He could have counteracted the boy, but did not do so. Rather, he took the blessings of, took the curse as the blessings of the Lord. Therefore, he left everything, went to the Ganges to fast until death, so that he can hear about Krishna and he fix his mind upon Krishna and he can go back home, back to Godhead. Whereas Samik, he did not offend, he did not counter curse the boy. Whereas Samik Rishi was very much sad, because if Maharaj Parikshit did not curse the boy, then that boy will be put in serious situation, because Lord does not forgive one who offends his devotee. If Parikshit curses the boy, then he can neutralize the curse so that the boy will be saved. Therefore, Samik Rishi know very well that devotees will not counter curse anyone. He prayed to Lord, Tiraskrita, Viprabda, Shapta, Hato Hapi, Nasya Pratikuruvanti, Tadbhakta, Prabhava Apihi. My dear Lord, your devotees are so forbearing, even though they are defamed, cheated, insulted, disturbed, even attempted to kill, they will not take any revenge against the wrongdoers. The quality of devotees, they always tolerate the insults, disturbance committed by other people. They will take this reversals as the blessings of Lord. So, Samik Rishi was well aware of the fact that devotees will not counter curse. Therefore, he prayed to Lord to save his son. So, this is the result of offending a Brahmana. Now, one more point. One should not give pain to great personalities. Who are the great personalities? Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita, Deva Dvija, Guru Prajana, Pujanam, Shaucham, Arjavam, Brahmacharim, Aimsacha, Shariram, Tapa Uchade. Deva, the Supreme Lord, Dvija, Brahmanas, Deva, Dvija, Guru, spiritual master, Prajna, respectable or worshipable personalities like father, mother. These are the great personalities. So, here in this verse it is said, the great personalities should not be given any grief. In this verse, Draupadi says, great personalities should not be given any trouble. Krishna explains to Uddhava one beautiful story, how a devotee should take the insults, how one should take the reversals as the blessings. He says, Shipta, Avamanita, Asabdi, Shipta, Avamanita, Asabdi, Pralabda, Asuyuto, Atova, Tadita Sanirdova, Prityava, Pariyapitaha, Nishtiyuto, Mutriyuto, Wagner, Bhudayum, Prakambitaha, Shreya Kama, Krishra Gata, Atmanatmam, Udaret. Even though one is insulted, ridiculed, cheated, envied by a bad man, even though one is being agitated by being beaten, one is tied up or deprived of his position, occupation, or spat upon him, or pollute him with urine, one who desires highest goal in his life, that is going back home, back to Godhead, should, in spite of all the difficulties, should use his intelligence to keep himself safe on the spiritual platform. Even though one is insulted, neglected, ridiculed, chastised, polluted with urine, spit on the face, the person who has got desire to go back home, back to Godhead, should, in spite of all the difficulties, should use his intelligence to keep himself safe on the spiritual platform. He should not get disturbed. There was a place called Avanti. There lived a Brahmana who was gifted with all opulence. He was very rich. He had a business of commerce. Yet he was very greedy, lusty, short temper. Moreover, he was miser. He would not spend one paisa. So, in his house, deprived of the religiosity, all the family members were very unhappy with him. Because even family members or guests, when they come, this Brahmana would not speak to them properly. They were not respected properly. Because when we speak properly, they will stay in our house. Therefore, we have to feed them. If we don't speak properly, they will run away so that I can save money. If I speak to my wife nicely, she will ask nice saree, jewels, everything she will ask, nice house. If I don't talk to her, she will not ask anything so that I can save money. This Brahmana was so stingy, would not spend one paisa even for his wife, children, son, daughter, son-in-law, daughter-in-law. Because of this, all the family members became very much disgusted with him. They developed ill feeling towards him. Nobody liked him in his own house. So he would not even perform the 5 family sacrifice called Panchamaha Yagna. A Grahastha must perform 5 sacrifice. He would not spend one paisa for this. Why I should spend unnecessarily? I should keep the money. So you will go and open the cupboard and see the money is there, close it and come. Keep the key. So like that he was only seeing the money and he did not want to enjoy. And did not want to give to anyone. Because of this, he could not spend the money for even sacrifice. Because of this offense, neglecting the demigods, he lost all his pious credit. He depleted the stock of his piety and lost all his wealth. Some wealth was looted by thieves. Some wealth was looted by relatives. Some wealth was looted by friends and unknown person and the government official. They came and looted all the money. Finally, he was without any money. So when the family members saw that he is bankrupt, they took him, put him out of the house and locked him inside. So this person was sitting on the road and started crying, lamenting. Tears started flowing from his eyes. His voice was choked up. He could not speak even a word. Then he silently meditated for some time on his fortune. After some time, there was a feeling of renunciation aroused in him. Feeling of renunciation came over upon him. Then immediately the Brahmana said, what kind of activity I had done whole life? Simply I worked like a donkey to earn money. I did not enjoy materially, nor I used the money for sacrifice. This is a typical example of misers. They will be unhappy whole life. They will not spend one money. Even after death, they will go to hell. So after death also they will suffer. Even when they live also they will suffer. This is the characteristic of a miser. Then the Brahmana said, one who wants to achieve the highest benediction should not hoard wealth, should not be after undesirable material wealth. One should keep as much as want to maintain his body. Then he started praying to Lord. He started offering wonderful prayers. So time is not there. He said, then after that, he took the possession of, because what is the use of this wealth? When already I am the clutches of death, what is the use of this wealth? Therefore, nobody should go after wealth. Then he resolved his mind, no, if at all I have got any time in my life, then I'll take up the process of devotional service and live with the bare necessity of life. Having resolved his mind, he took sannyasa. Then after taking sannyasa, he traveled all over the earth alone. He completely controlled his senses. And he was going and begging some chapati once a day and he would eat. So, although he was exalted in devotional service, but he did not advertise himself as a great devotee. Therefore, common people could not recognize him his exalted position. So he was walking alone. That time there was some rowdy persons. They would come and take away the sannyasa rod, danda, and take away the pot, water pot. And even the cloth, he was wearing some old cloth. He was very poor person, wearing old dirty cloth. They thought this is a mad person. So this rowdy persons would come and take away the cloth, danda, water pot, everything. Then after they would pretend to give. When the Brahmana used to go and get, they would take it back and hide somewhere. So like that they started insulting with many unkind words. When the Brahmana would go outside, beg some food and bring, some rowdy person will come and pass urine on the food. Somebody will come and spit on the head. Somebody will come and put a chain and drag him like an animal and leave him and bring him. So like that they started insulting like anything. And finally somebody said, he's a cheater, he's a liar. Immediately tie him, bound him with a rope. All people started binding him like animal and drag him on the road. So he was undergoing all the reversals. Then somebody said, this person is actually hypocrite. He's a cheater because now he's making the business of religion. Why? Because he lost all his wealth, his family members throw him away. Therefore you took the profession of sannyasa to maintain his life. Like that started insulting like anything. This Brahmana, whatever trouble came, he remained undisturbed, unagitated. He understood whatever problems comes from other people or by devas or by his own body, adhyatmika, adibhautika, adidaivika, all the things, all the problems are destined for me. I am supposed to get all things because of my karma. These people are not responsible for that. Nayam janome sukudukka hetur na devatatma grah karma kala. Nayam janome sukudukka hetur na devatatma grah karma kala. Manaparam karam amananti samsara chakram parivartayet yat. The Brahmana said, although he was insulted, ridiculed by these foolish people, still he maintained his spirituality. He did not get disturbed. Then he said, actually these people are not the cause of my happiness. Nayam janame sukadukka hetur. Not these people are responsible for my happiness and distress. Na deva, not the demigods, na atma, nor my own body, na graha, nor any planets. When people are suffering, they'll go to astrologer to ask the cause of his suffering. Astrologer will say that you are under the clutch of Shani Bhagavan. You are under the clutch of Shani Bhagavan. Give me 5,000 rupees. I'll remove Shani Bhagavan influence. So the Brahmana says, na grah karma kala. Not graha. My suffering and enjoyment is not the cause of graha, nor my karma, nor time. What is the cause of my happiness and distress? Mana param karam amananti. Mind is the ultimate cause of one's suffering and enjoyment. Samsara chakram parivartet yat. That mind which gives the happiness and distress. It makes us to undergo all the troubles. So the Brahmana, having concluded this, then he resolved himself, then I'll give all these things, I'll fix up in devotional service. Etam saastaya paratmanishtan adhyasitam puratamir mareshabi ham tarishami turantaparam tamo mukundangari nishayaiva. Now I'll come to the conclusion. Like that the Brahmana said, now I'll fix my mind upon the lotus feet of Mukunda. I firmly fix in the devotional service of Mukunda. This was approved by all previous acharyas and everyone attained perfection. Now I'll follow the same path of previous acharyas. Having resolved this, they practiced devotional service and went back home, back to Godhead. So we can say even when you are insulted sometimes by securities or housekeeping people or some devotees, we'll get so much disturbed. We'll get so much disturbed. Sometimes you may even stop coming to temple, stop practicing devotional service. But if you stick to the instruction of Prabhupada, like rising early in the morning, chanting, attending Mangalarti, chanting 16 rounds, following the 4 regulated principles, hearing Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavatam, and rendering some service in temple, naturally the disturbance will be there for some time. Temple may put some rules that will disturb us. So when we practice seriously, sincerely, so the disturbance, because any saintly person, anyone get disturbed. Somebody is insulted, even great personalities will get disturbed. But when you practice the instructions given by the bona fide Acharya, will not get disturbed, or the disturbance will gradually disappear. So when we follow the instructions and when we undergo all the trials and we understand whatever I am facing is the mercy of the Lord, therefore I will not get disturbed. In spite of all the difficulties, I will firmly engage in devotional service. This is the quality of a devotee. This is the quality of a devotee. So the conclusion is, devotees, one who is engaged in devotional service will develop all the good qualities of a pure devotee. When we have developed all the good qualities, even though we may undergo reversal in this world, we will take this curse as or reversals as the blessings of the Lord. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yetu dharma amritam itam yatoktam paripasade shraddha matparma bhaktastam tivame priya. One who follows the imperishable path of devotional service and completely engaged in devotional service, making me is the ultimate goal of his life, are very, 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 very dear to me. Krishna says, one who follows the imperishable path of devotional service and engage in devotional service, making me as the ultimate goal of their life, are very, very, very dear to me. If at all we are to be very dear to Krishna, then we should follow the path of devotional service under the guidance of bona fide spiritual master. That will attract the attention of Krishna. Even when we are insulted, ridiculed, cheated, when we follow this path of devotional service, we will not get disturbed. We will remain firmly fixed in devotional service. We will remain firmly fixed in devotional service. So, when we are firmly fixed in devotional service, the spiritual master is very much pleased. Krishna is very much pleased. Therefore, one who knows the principles of religion should not give cause to great personalities. If you are insulted, if you are cheated, if you are neglected, if you give up devotional service, then the great personalities like Srila Prabhupada, Krishna will be pained. Therefore, our duties should not get disturbed for any reason. We should constantly engage in devotional service to give pleasure to Krishna. If we sincerely follow this principle, then we are assured of going back home, back to Godhead, even in this life. That will please Krishna. That will please Prabhupada. So that should be the goal of life. That is the purpose of this verse. Thus will end this class. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki